You have a lot of different ways in which you can administer questionnaires or lists of questions to people. They are grouped into two types, the self-administered questionnaire and the researcher-administered questionnaire. The self-administered questionnaire is the one where a participant reads the questions himself or herself and then answers them and enters their response either in a piece of paper or on a website himself or herself. This is what a lot of you guys do when you do tests, for instance. You read the test questions and you respond to them. When you do teacher evaluations at the end of the semester, it's a self-administered method because nobody reads those questions or items to you. You read them yourself and then you answer them yourself. You enter your answers yourself. The other type is researcher-administered questionnaire, where it is the researcher who reads those questions to you. You listen to them and then you respond to the researcher, and the researcher then enters those responses into usually the computer database. So as far as the self-administered methods, we have two kinds. The basic one that has been used for many years is the paper and pencil method. This method involves paper, and on the paper you have your questions printed, and then people use either a pencil or a pen to fill out these questionnaires. So you can hand out something like this in a class, and in fact, again, the teacher evaluations use the paper and pencil method. You remember you get the purple form and the yellow form at the end of the semester in each class, and then you have to fill out the evaluations using a number 2 pencil. Sometimes paper and pencil questionnaires are mailed to people, and I'm sure that every one of you has at least once in your life received a survey questionnaire in the mail. You may have gotten also a return envelope where the postage is paid, and all you need to do is fill it out and put it in the envelope and send it to the address on the envelope. And then the other type that is becoming very popular, and you will do a lot of this type of questionnaire with me in this class because the class is mostly web-based. Whenever I put a questionnaire on a web page where participants fill out the questionnaire electronically and submit the responses via the web, that's the method called web-based administration. And you may have seen all kinds of questionnaires, all kinds of polls posted on news websites, routinely news websites poll people on a number of different things, and many other places where you are asked your opinion about things and you just have to check a box, sometimes type in some things and then click submit. There are two basic types of researcher-administered questionnaire. There in fact are more than two, but I just want you to be familiar with these two because they're the most popular, and be sure to remember the acronyms that are used, the CAPI and the CATI acronym, because very frequently when you end up looking for jobs, many jobs that students in communication end up applying for involve some research. And sometimes these job descriptions say that the candidate has to be familiar with CAPI technology or CATI technology, and it sounds very mysterious. They don't explain to you what that is, so I'm going to explain to you now. It's very easy. The CAPI technology stands for Computer Assisted Personal Interviewing, CAPI. And it's very easy. What this means is that a researcher is sitting face-to-face with a participant, asking the participant questions, the participant responds, and the researcher enters the responses into a computer. Let me show you a video that illustrates that. Watch.
This is the same idea as a focus group, just a really small group.
Far away from the boardrooms of the entertainment industry, in places like this nondescript office park outside Boston, the nitty-gritty work of selling starts with a simple questionnaire about bread.
And now what do you see as the disadvantages to eating grain-based foods?
Today, faced with a nation hooked on low-carb diets, the baked goods industry needs to find out just how Americans feel about their products.
Okay, I'm going to read you some different emotions. I've got a whole list of them here. For each one of them, I just want you to tell me yes or no as to whether or not you think you feel that emotion when you're eating white bread. Okay? The first one is accepting. Do you feel accepting when you're eating white bread?
Yeah, I would say yes.
Affectionate?
No.
Lonely?
No.
Disappointed?
No.
Afraid?
No.
Trusting?
No, I don't think that would be an issue.
Would you feel uncertain?
Yeah, a little uncertain. I've got one question. Can I ask a question? The question was, when you eat bread, do you feel lonely? Have you found people say yes, they feel lonely when they're eating bread?
Not a lot.
Weren't some of these questions strange? So you can see this is the weird world of market research, and apparently eating, and it makes sense if you think about it. Eating is a very emotional experience for many people. So people who are trying to advertise foods, in this case white bread, probably want to tap into those emotions and appeal to those emotions when they advertise it. Notice also how the researcher really tried to keep a straight face, even though I'm sure he knew that what he was asking sounded a little strange. But it's very important when you are using CAPI, interviewing people face to face, remember that your behavior, your nonverbal signals that you are sending as a researcher are influencing what the other person is responding. So you have to be very careful when you are administering questionnaires face to face like this to not be too emotionally expressive. You have to kind of maintain a very neutral demeanor, not to influence those responses. And then the other method of administering questionnaires is the telephone method. And this is simply termed as computer-assisted telephone interviewing. I'm sure that every one of you, at least once in your life, picked up the phone, and on the other side, there was a person asking you if you would be willing to complete a questionnaire on the phone. Maybe some of you participated. Maybe some of you actually worked as a computer-assisted telephone interviewer. So you know that this is a very challenging task if you have done this. It's a very interesting way of interacting with people, and it's a very popular way too. Many companies, that's all they do. Research companies simply develop these call centers, and what you need is a set of powerful computers that have some basic data entry programs, and you need obviously a number of telephone lines that are connected to these computers. The computers dial the numbers for you. Typically they do what is called random digit dialing. So they create these random phone numbers that typically reach some household, and then you end up talking to someone who is on the other side. So these are the different methods of administering surveys, and now I'd like you to go on to an activity that accompanies this video on the Blackboard page, and talk to me a little bit about what you think are the strengths and weaknesses of using each of these 4 methods of administering questionnaires.